What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are working on the blue 66 convertible. You guys have seen us take this thing to the track. Ended up going like a 1250, I believe, in it. Having a little bit of transmission issues with it. We actually drove it about 45 minutes to my sister's wedding months ago, and on the way back the thing was just making a ton of noise. Transmission's not happy. So we're gonna go ahead and throw a 5-speed in it. My dad's been working on it and taking it all apart, which is why I haven't really got any footage of it. I'll show you where we're at and bring you guys all up to speed, and then we'll start putting this thing back together. All right, guys, it's actually been almost a week now since we brought this thing in and pulled it apart. I didn't get any video of pulling it apart, but I'll bring you up to speed on where we're at. We ordered a new clutch for it. I'll actually show you exactly why here in a little bit. But we had a hard time getting the drive shaft out of this thing, so we actually had to drop the rear end and slide the drive shaft out like over here in this area. There was like no room for the drive shaft to come out or even be dropped down. So drop the rear end down. That gave us some clearance for that. This right here is the tranny that came out of it. Don't know if it's actually the original tranny or not, but judging by the looks of it and all the oil and everything that's on it, it's been in there for a good amount of time, and she was just a little wore out. So right here, Ryan's putting the speedometer cable in. This is our TKO 600 5-speed that we got for it. Well, we didn't get it for it, we've had it for it. This actually came in a wrecked 65 Corvette that we've got. This thing is actually modified. It's supposed to be a top loader transmission, but they modify these shifters to put the shifter in the factory location so you don't have to cut the floor and everything. So the reason we've got to put a clutch in it, two reasons. One, it's a different spline. This is a fine spline. This one's a coarse spline. But then, if you take a look at this clutch, you can definitely tell that Ryan's been driving this thing, because
I wasn't the only one driving it.
I don't know if this was Ryan's fault, but I do not understand how this thing went on the racetrack and did not slip the clutch. Definitely doesn't make enough horsepower if you can drive down a racetrack on a clutch disc that looks like that. The pressure plate's a little marked up. She's definitely seen some heat. So we went ahead and got this center force clutch for it. This is a dual friction deal. It's got the pucks on one side, kind of keep the clutch disc cool. And then had a broken clutch fork. Clip that holds the clutch fork was actually broke, so got a GM clutch fork we're gonna put in it. Actually, this just came in today too. We got this aluminum flywheel for it. We had a steel one that came with the clutch kit, but
Holy crap.
big difference?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I can't pick the dang thing back up.
You may have the cat help you? Juliet, come over and pick this thing up for her.
I can't get any leverage on the dang thing.
Good thing we're not videoing.
It weighs 32 pounds.
That one probably weighs about 15, probably half. We'll let you pick up the aluminum one, that way you feel good about yourself.
Okay, thanks. Yep. 14 point,
14.2. Over here, we just got some bolts, put the clutch together. Just a bunch of random stuff. Alignment tool. So we're gonna go ahead and start slapping this thing together. Well, you just watched us totally fail on putting that transmission in here. We didn't know if we were going to be able to do it. We really wanted to do it without pulling the engine, but I just don't think it's going to happen without lifting the body off the frame. And you know, guys online were saying put a couple hockey pucks in between the frame and the body to space it up, and that's just a lot of work. So we've had motors out of these things in no time. Thing is pretty much all the way off. We've got a few motor mount bolts, radiator hoses, and a little bit of wiring, and this motor will come out. So we're gonna end up pulling the engine, and then we'll actually slide the 5-speed transmission onto the engine and then set it all in at once. It's gonna be kind of difficult because we usually use this crane right here to pull engines, but obviously the car is not on the lift in the correct spot to use that. And we can't really put it on the ground and roll it forward because we got the rear end out of it. So we got to decide if we're going to use, we got a cherry picker in back. If we're going to use a cherry picker, a lot of times these Corvettes, the nose is too long to use a cherry picker. You got to go from the side. So we can't go through the side when we're sliding the tranny in because we got to go pretty much like that to get it all in at once. So we're going to decide if we're going to put the rear end back in, roll it forward, or maybe just use a jack and scoot it forward. I don't know, but we're going to start ripping this engine out and then start making a plan from there. Well, you just watched us struggle with this thing, and it actually wasn't as big of a struggle as we thought it was going to be. We were going to pull the motor, then we decided not to, then we decided to, then we decided not to. We decided to keep the motor in the car and just bring it as far forward as we can, and then we got the tranny slid somewhat in there enough to where it wouldn't fall out, and then we put some longer bolts in it, and then set the motor back in its spot and lifted the car up in the air and actually shoved the tranny in and bolted everything in. So everything seems to be fitting good. We really had to adjust the clutch rod. It was all the way up here, and I just adjusted it all the way back to down there. And then we still have to put the rear end back together. We thought we had to leave that apart to get the drive shaft in, but this drive shaft was actually a little shorter than our last drive shaft, so that drive shaft slid right in like it's supposed to. So just a couple bolts, we'll have the rear end back in. That really wasn't that big of a deal. Hopefully here in a little bit, we'll have this thing buttoned up, and I don't know if we're gonna take it for a drive or not. It's nasty and snowing here right now. If the roads are dry, we might buzz her down the road. So we're gonna get back at it, finish this thing up, and finally get it off this lift that has been taken up for about 3 weeks now. So we just let this thing down and put her gear, moved her back a little bit, and everything's good so far. Still gotta put this cover on, but I believe it's in the car somewhere. I don't know where it went. There it is, right there. The only thing we gotta find right now is a shifter boot that actually fits. This shifter sits up a lot more, and then it actually bolts right here. So the shifter boot is actually not long enough. We couldn't bolt the shifter boot to the floor. If we did, it'd be pulling on the shifter and pull it back up into neutral. So Got to figure that out. Maybe somebody makes a longer boot, or we'll come up with some sort of boot. You used to have to pull this up to get it into reverse, but that's just sitting there chilling now. Reverse is actually all the way over and back. You don't have to mess with the reverse lockout anymore. But looks all factory. Really, if you were just looking at the car, you'd never know the thing's got a 5-speed in it. So we're going to fire this old girl up. It doesn't have very good fuel in it because we actually drove it to the next town over, about 40 miles back a few months ago. Probably not gonna beat on it, and it's kind of nasty outside. It's probably about 15 degrees out there. A little bit of snow on the ground. Road's got a little bit of salt, but the salt's dry. Fifth gear drops at about 800 RPMs. It's not running right. We think we got a plug wire off. That one was off.
That was off?
Yep.
Is it completely off?
It wasn't completely off, but it wasn't clipped on, just the boot was on the plug. Oh, that coil's not causing it, but that coil wire's junk.
It might be causing it. Never done a good that just start around like ass. Alright, let's go back and look.
Shut your side.
It was running like good, and then it just.
You hear it, I would think. Alright guys, you just saw us drive this thing, and hopefully we didn't upset too many Corvette purists out there by driving on that nasty road. We got a problem. This thing is not running like it should. I don't know what is going on. We thought we had some spark plug wires off maybe. Checked all those are good. We had one that was loose on that side. I put it back on. it wasn't loose enough to cause an issue. Got an issue with this coil wire right here. It doesn't actually clip in. Not sure if that's the problem. I don't think that's the problem. Carburetor is not leaking any fuel like we thought maybe what was happening. So the thing might need just a set of plugs. We had the wires on the coil on wrong last night, and the thing got flooded when we were trying to crank it over. So I don't know if we've got some real nasty plugs, but should have cleaned up if it was the plugs. So I don't know. Shouldn't just put a transmission in a car and end up running like crap. So we've got an issue somewhere. We might end up just dropping an MSD distributor in it and hiding an MSD box like in the glove box or something like that, just so we have a rev limiter now, because we do plan on still racing this thing. So just a little bit of a tune-up, new plug wires, new plugs, that might actually take care of it. But that'll all probably be on another video, because today we're about wrapped up with this thing. So if you want to see more of this thing, be sure you hit the subscribe button and follow along. If you haven't seen this thing, we did drive it at the racetrack a few videos back. We got like 2 videos on it, I think. You have to go back and check those out. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and we'll see you on the next one.